apologies, Ms. Newman. We're with your mother's detail.
Is that Zoe?
We'll be done in just a minute.
It's okay. We see nothing. Ça va? Non, ça va?
Go on, son. Have a bump.
And by bump, he means a previous season's worth of violence and unsettling carnal knowledge compressed into 20 seconds, of which the only thing YouTube allows me to see is the deep in this cephalopod. Also, opening the 4th season with 3rd season spoilers.
Discount Jeremy double dips cliche.
This seems like a step that could and should have happened in a controlled environment that is not a van. I would have believed that Frenchie put acid in the eye drops without you showing him putting acid in the eye drops at the last minute.
You clearly haven't been watching this show then. The boys have been shown to do stuff like this all the time, especially Frenchie. It's called characterization.
Homelander's in the building. If you see him, do not engage. I repeat, do not engage with Homelander. That means you, Butcher. You copy?
Telling Billy I live by my own rules, Butcher, that his arch nemesis is in the building and expecting him not to live by his own rules.
That's literally the reason MM is telling him this. If he didn't say anything to Butcher and Butcher saw Homelander, he would immediately engage. But priming Butcher for that possibility is mitigating the risk of that happening.
I've got a lorry out back. I can get you out of here.
What are you talking about?
I couldn't agree more, Ryan. They really should provide subtitles for this British twaddle.
Just because you're too stupid to understand British doesn't mean the rest of us are.
Siri, your virtual assistant.
I'm Siri, your virtual assistant.
Right, I'll tell you what, you fat little you're boring. You don't sound Nigerian at all. So go and yourself. Go and crawl in a dirty, dank little hole where you come from, you dirty, dragon-eating little spastic.
So many pincers.
Frenchie, judge not lest you be judged for choosing a haircut that makes you look like you belong with the cast of Scream 3.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
It's silly to have these guys posted up in the hotel room instead of outside the door where they could have possibly prevented Zoe from coming in to find Frenchie with this stupid look on his face. It's like they're only here to die gruesome deaths and ruin my Taco Bell experience for the millionth time.
That's actually a decent sin. Damn, I wasn't expecting that, especially not this early.
Frenchie, trust me.
Later, we'll find out that Annie is actually pretty bad at flying and that she could only keep it up for around half a minute. That explains the partial failure of this rescue attempt, but it doesn't explain why Frenchie, fully aware of all of this, decides to trust her. Don't you give me any of that, oh, I'm scared of getting my arm ripped off by creepy soup child.
Wait a second, you acknowledge the refutation of your sin, which is completely valid, seeing as how you didn't actually refute the refutation, but then you just give this a sin anyway? You're almost as dishonest as the average Christian apologist.
First of all, Old Testament slavery was not race-based forced servitude like we think about slavery in the United States 150 years ago. It was a voluntary means of working off debt. So the kind of slavery that we're thinking about when we read the Bible is not the kind of slavery that was in the Old Testament. This was called indentured servitude, and it actually benefited the servant.
Almost.
You shot your own daughter up with V? You turned her into a fucking monster, like you.
I'm sorry, that sounds like the pot calling the kettle a teleporting dude with his out.
To be fair, Huey made that choice for himself, not a vulnerable human in his care like you did, Victoria. So at best, this is like the pot being mad at the kettle for living in the same moral gray area, but having more fun with it.
Right, but the show isn't suggesting that Victoria is correct, just that she thinks she is. This is an example of a character being flawed.
Worst mistake I ever made.
Forgetting about that Creedence Clearwater Revival music video from 2018.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
Like you and me, we were like family.
At some point, I'd like confirmation that this close bond that formed almost completely off-screen is going to amount to more than just some convenient plot armor for Huey.
We did see some of their relationship in Season 3, although admittedly not as much as I would have liked. However, you randomly calling it convenient is pretty stupid. Huey was Victoria's right-hand man, so it makes sense that they would have gotten close, and being close to someone leads to them wanting to protect you. None of this is convenient. You just enjoy tossing that word around like a politician's penis at an orgy.
Hey, Vicky.
Whoa, Huey!
You don't turn your back on family.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Also, this acid was supposed to kill her. It barely injured the suit.
Yup, Huey made a mistake. The show didn't make a mistake, just the character within the show, so this sin is dumb.
You guys are actually getting worse at your jobs.
It's easy when it's written that way.
Discount Jeremy is pretending that the boys making mistakes hasn't been an aspect of their characterization since season 1, but it absolutely has. Discount Jeremy really needs some help to pay attention. Maybe if we put up an image of 10-year-old Emma Watson, he'll actually watch the show.
We had to tell their families they snorted fentanyl-laced cocaine at the after party.
And then what? Did you tell them you accidentally left the bodies outside where a mountain lion had their faces for dinner?
This line from Singer clearly implies that they didn't show the bodies to their families. Try to keep up, buddy.
We might have to accept the possibility that Newman's invulnerable.
Show wants me to believe it's accepting the possibility and not just making up that character trait right now on the spot.
Except the show isn't making up this character trait because Victoria isn't actually invulnerable, as we see later this season. How hard is it to just watch a goddamn show? Look, 1 second. Here. Will you pay attention now? Oh, who am I kidding? This is just gonna make original Jeremy take over, and he's gonna be too turned on to pay attention.
Janine, she got into a fight at school. Principal didn't say why, just that she KO'd a boy.
The principal just didn't say why, and you just accepted that as an answer?
The show never implied that Monique accepted the principal's answer, just that the answer he gave her was final. That kind of thing is totally plausible, given that schools don't accept fighting regardless of the motivation.
Well, I get what you saw in that guy. He was good to Janine. Because he sure as shit wasn't a D.
Does MM not have enough going on that it was necessary to introduce Todd's D-plot?
MM is insecure. This is called characterization, dude. Keep up.
We had a previously on at the beginning of the episode. We don't need to see the one playing in Homelander's head.
Except that it's a pivotal aspect of his character this season. Homelander is dealing with his past and grappling with his struggle to get rid of his humanity.
Todd and Homelander aren't above the law. They can't just do whatever they want.
The previous 3 seasons of the show would seem to imply otherwise.
Which is exactly why she's advocating for them to be held accountable. Jesus Christ, dude, it's like the TVSins writers put the show on in the background while they play Minecraft, because they clearly aren't paying attention or using their brains.
A ridiculous lie perpetuated by a jilted and emotionally unstable, hysterical woman who, let's be clear, pooped in my bed.
Trying to be Johnny Deep when we all know that you're Captain Jackass Sparrow.
Discount Jeremy makes a...
She's a butterface. Her body's on point, but her face.
'Cause his name's the Deep and he's trying to creep. Are there thoughts in his head or is he just getting dumber?
Discount Jeremy tries to sing in a video cliche.
What's her power? She's the world's smartest person.
This is like saying Homelander makes things hot by looking at them, instead of he shoots freaking laser beams from his eyes. Yes, Sage is the smartest person in the world, but her power has to be the physical qualities of her brain that enable her to learn all of the things real good, not just the end result.
So the show made a mistake by having A-Train say the same thing you wanted him to say, but with some different words? I mean, this is such an inconsequential and stupid sin that it can't even be categorized as nitpicking. The next 2 sins in a row are both pop culture references.
You're the only one that wants him here.
And every other fan who watches almost purely because of Butcher's shenanigans.
Where are you getting this statistic? Let's be honest, he's probably pulling it out of his own ass, like a politician at an orgy.
Oh, you mean that nasty little virus they cooking up at Godolphin?
Show says if you didn't watch Gen V, you can go f*** yourself.
For the millionth time, this is a connected universe. If you don't want to watch a franchise with a connected universe, then don't. But you also don't get to complain about not understanding things when those things are available for you to watch.
No one's donating to the Annie house? It sounds like we sell raisin cookies.
You'd sell a lot more if you told the true story of how raisins came into being. They were grapes once, taken by the dark powers, tortured and mutilated.
Oh, shit.
Tongue's your taint.
The boys' best attempt at competing with the slogan, "Who watches the Watchmen?"
Discount Jeremy makes...
Plus, I'm a black woman who is 1,000 times smarter than you. Your ego can't handle it.
Ha! Joke's on you. My ego.
Skip.
Todd must be picking some serious heat between his legs.
Does Frenchie not have enough going on that it was necessary to work in Todd's D-plot?
Says the guy who makes cringeworthy sex jokes, appendage jokes, poop jokes, and works for a guy who was attracted to Emma Watson when she was 10 years old. In other words, hypocrisy is hypocritical.
It takes them 19 seconds to beat these gentlemen to death. That is way too long for a couple of soups.
The show never suggests that the men were alive for those 19 seconds, just that the soups continued the beating for 19 seconds. Stop making random assumptions. The next 2 sins in a row are Discount Jeremy padding the runtime, like a politician at an orgy.
putting Home and Lander on different lines.
The sign isn't long enough for Homelander to all be on one line. Given that the name Homelander is a combination of two words, home and lander, the separation on this sign actually makes sense. I can't believe I have to explain such trivial shit to you.
Homelander comes out here to do his best Willy Wonka.
Discount Jeremy.
Justice prevailed today as the jury in Homelander's murder trial handed down a not guilty verdict.
Look, the boys, I'm glad you're back. I'm looking forward to all the bloody fun we'll have together for 8 episodes, but this is your 3rd use of news position.
It's almost like the boys' universe is satirical.
Homelander drinks milk and I hate it. Cliche.
Discount Jeremy still doesn't know what the word cliche means.
Oh. Whoa.